right, so everybody's talking about EMIO, and obviously I didn't make a video when it first came out, but now I feel like I gotta talk to it because more information finally came out, and we now know what EMIO is. It's not this really fucking cool horror game. It's another Famicom Detective Club, which is cool, by the way, and I haven't seen the trailer yet, so we're gonna watch it together, but I did get a little spoiled on Twitter, so let's check that baddie out. Alright, here we fucking go, chat. Oh shit. Hello everyone, my name is Yoshio Sakamoto from Nintendo, the producer of this latest game of the Famicom Detective Club, EMIO. Smiley man. Okay, here we is. Music is pretty dope. Pretty dope, skis. Listen, this is cool. It is
ファミコン探
cool.
偵クラブは30年ほど前に消えた後継者と後ろに立つ少女という2作品を発売したファミリーコンピューターディスクシステムのアドベンチャーゲームシリーズです。どちらも
The
自分で
remake's
と進めて
pretty
いく
sweet.
映画というようなイメージでゲームデザインしました。2021年に任天堂スイッチでリメイクしたんですけども、これをやってみてね、これは絶対にファミちゃんの完全新作を作ら
That's
ない
crazy.
良いものができると思ってやろうと決めました。30年越しの新作ですからね、プロット作りから脚本、カットシーンの演出に至るまで細かな部分も全てやりました。
You know what's funny is Celia predicted this over on Game and Talk, my Nintendo podcast. Go check that out.
エミオとは泣いている女の子の前に現れて、その命と引き換えに
Oh.
笑顔の紙袋を与えるという本作オリジナルの都市伝説です。都市伝説ってそんなんただの噂やんって思うけど、幽霊とは違うリアリティっていうか生々しさがあるんですよね。その噂の背景をしっかり描くことで事件の見え方そのものが変わってしまう。
Listen,
それを
it's
問い
cool.
かけるようなストーリーにしたかったから、
It's
今
cool.
までにはない思い切った仕組みも取り入れました。本作で
You have
は
a
この
trailer
タイトルにもなっているエミオという都市伝説、そしてそれによく似た殺人事件をめぐって宇津木探偵事務所が事件解決に挑みます。
Alright, we're getting some backstory here, I guess.
今作エミオは過去作とリメイクからのノウハウと温めてきたアイデアをフル稼働させて、脚本も演出も思いっきりやるつもりで信頼できる仲間たちと感性をぶつけ合いながら作り上げました。ファミコン探偵クラブの一つの完成形といえる自信作です。自分が描きたかったものをストレートに表現しているので、特に結末は人によっては賛否が分かれるかもしれません。そんな本作だからこそ世界中の人々に一人でも多く触れてもらって、それぞれが思ったことや感じたことを長く語り合ってもらえればと思っています。お客さんたちのいろんな声を早く聞いてみたいですね。
I like the idea that they drummed up August 29th. Why was that not in a Nintendo Direct, chat? What? Like, what are we doing right now? So there it is, and it's pretty evident that it's like not as big of a deal as everyone was making it out to be, and everybody was really excited, you know, could this mean this huge horror game for Nintendo? You know, they're diving into some sort of like 3D action-esque horror game where you're running around and you're running from this thing or whatever. And unfortunately, it has turned out to be another Famicom Detective Club. It is still cool. Let me be clear. Famicom Detective Club coming back is fucking epic because that's a franchise that has been dead for 30 years and Nintendo has decided to take it and bring it all the way back on the Nintendo Switch. That kind of stuff cannot be understated, like how cool it is, okay, chat? It's just like not the hypest shit that everybody thought it was gonna be, but something like this, a visual novel type deal, makes a lot of sense for Nintendo. I personally kind of assumed that they were going to start leading this way instead of something like a, I don't know, where they go. What was the thought process? Like a FNAF, like a, I don't know. I guess I don't play a lot of horror games, but I was confused what the idea behind that was. But, you know, they drummed up all this hype and all this excitement to release a visual novel. And for some people, that's cool. But for the majority of people, I think it's going to piss people off just a little bit. But hey, it's still a cool idea, still a cool game. I like the hype cycle. I like the marketing behind this. I think this was really fun. I'd love to see what Nintendo does with like an actual, you know, proper horror game. But so it is cool that it's like this guy said, the Metroid co-creator Yoshio Sakamoto, which is pretty cool. And it's actually wild that we're getting a new game. And a lot of people think this is decently cool in some stuff, but then it's stuff like this. And that was one way to boost an obscure IP's recognition, which is true because it's like, who asked for this? Who wanted this? And you know it's not going to do as well, but if you hype it up like this, it's probably going to bang and it's going to get a lot of eyes on it. Which, you know what? Like, it's fair because they don't need to justify their need to want to make a fun thing and want to, like, this was a fun adventure that we all went on with them, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. And this is true. I mean, it's really just helping the Switch library, right? Like, it's just making the Switch library more and more full and with different types of experiences and shit like that, and I think that's really cool. Like, I actually have the collector's edition for the Famicom Detective Club stuff because I wanted those games physically. I fucking hope to God that they bring out a physical copy of this. Actually, that's the question. Are they going to bring out a physical copy of this game? Because if so, that's a banger. They really need to. I mean, I literally got the whole entire, like, collector's edition of the game imported from Japan so I could get the physical cartridge of the first two remade. And, like, listen, the first two are pretty okay. They're, like, not really my thing, I'm gonna be honest. But there's a lot of things in those games that, like, are really cool. And that I think when they're building a game in this modern era from the ground up, they can get away, like, they can do away with some of those annoyances easier than they could in this original one. Because the last two are pretty faithful to the original games, I believe. The art style, gorgeous. The storytelling is really good. And, like, it's just a cool, like, other IP that Nintendo should explore. I love it when they get to the obscure shit, especially within the last year of the Switch. I mean, that's the time to do it. We're sitting here waiting for Metroid Prime 4 and all these big things, but to fill out, like, that release calendar a little bit, stuff like, you know, the NES Championship that literally came out today, and also, this is pretty cool. Like, there's some things you can do here, which I do really enjoy. If we jump over to Twitter, it's kind of a different story here. So on Twitter, they dropped, like, this trailer, which is a little bit more of something substantial. It's not on YouTube for some reason, but this is pretty cool. Like, this shows off sort of the art style. I mean, actually, I think that's just the end of the thing, but it shows off the art style a little bit, stuff like that. But, like, one of the bigger comments is, this is such an L. RGT just said, oh. Like, people aren't that excited for something like this because it's not that horror game that they wanted. It's not that horror game that they anticipated, and it's a little upsetting for people who really got their hopes up for something like an actual big horror game, which is a bit unfortunate. It's just a lot of, like, nothing reactions. People seem to not really care too much. And, like, then there's, after all the teases, this is what it is like a little upsetting, which is true, but I think when you look at it with the idea that Nintendo was just having a little bit of fun with their marketing, and it's a game that's so obscure that a little bit of good marketing behind it could really do a lot for the franchise. And listen, that brought so many people to the idea of what Famicom Detective Club is who maybe don't know what it is at all, or haven't checked out the series at all, or ever even heard of it. At the end of the day, I'm not upset. I'm not angry. I do think it's a bit disappointing. Would I have liked some sort of FNAF-inspired style horror Nintendo game? That would have been fucking sick. But at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. This does tell us that it wasn't Bloober Team that is behind it, and they still have Project M coming at some point. So maybe that is the actual mature-rated Mario horror game that we've all been waiting for. But until then, you can like and subscribe, and I'll probably stream this game live coming out August 29th, and I will see you guys in this video. It's a banger, it's a vibe, it's a good time. Goodbye, everybody!